Let's bring in Jan Pospisil, an associate professor on peace and conflict resolution at Coventry University. Jan, first of all, thank you very much for your time this evening. Why has violence caused by ethnic tensions and disputes over resources such as land in South Sudan increased in various parts of the country in recent months?
Well, as different reasons, certainly. There is, of course, political tensions that have always existed also on subnational level. Particularly land conflicts have always been there. But of course, the current difficult conditions that you have just alluded to in the report have exacerbated these tensions, especially cattle raiding, which is a fairly common occurrence in parts of the country, has increased. Although we have to say we have not yet enough evidence to see how exactly these current weather events impact conflict. We have seen in past years, especially since 2020, when it was the first year that heavy flooding happened, that flooding caused internal displacement that has then led to intercommunal conflict in various parts of the country, particularly because of the displacement of large cattle herds to areas where they weren't grazing before, and this increased the competition for land.
And Jan, the World Food Programme's warning South Sudan's facing a humanitarian crisis due not only to the violence, but the influx of refugees fleeing neighbouring Sudan, and as we saw there, climate change now too, including droughts and floods. How are all these issues interconnected?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's indeed a multiple crisis going on at the moment. The problem is for the humanitarians that due to Sudan, but also other events like Ukraine, like Gaza, the money that remains for more forgotten crises like South Sudan is constantly declining. So WFP and other humanitarian agencies are not able any longer to fulfill the given humanitarian needs. South Sudan had always a situation where in the more severe parts of the year, especially at the end of the dry season, which is usually pretty much in April, and then the flooding produced kind of humanitarian needs that saw most often about 70% of the population in need of humanitarian relief. This is not possible anymore to be delivered by the humanitarians. So this makes the situation really, really bad. What comes is an increasing number of refugees from Sudan. It's likely that we'll see famine type of conditions in Darfur if they are not already there. There's hardly any aid going into these places. So there is considerable displacement south. And all this resulted in a severe economic crisis and high inflation in South Sudan. I can only say I left the country last time end of February, so not even 3 weeks ago. And since then, the currency has lost almost a third of its value, from 1,200 SSP to 1 USD to now 1,800 SSP to 1 USD, which is without precedence really in the history of the country so far.
Jan, thank you very much for talking to us. Jan Pospisil, speaking to us live there from London.